Duran in the ninth, in a 4-run game, throws a pitch. There's a comebacker that hits him in the foot. He goes down to the point where he has to get carted off. A lot of fans are extremely disgusted with the manager because he was not able to get a save. It was not a closing situation. But the truth is, Duran has not pitched since Sunday. You do have to keep him in rhythm. You can't just have his ass sitting on the bench until it's his time to save a game. He must stay active. He must throw. He needs to keep his arm moving legitimately in a real game. Rob Thomson, 1,000% made the right decision, and it was a poor result. But you can do that as a manager. In this game of baseball, you can do something that makes a ton of sense and not necessarily get the result that you want. Whether you go to the right bullpen arm and the bullpen arm fails, they didn't have it that day. Whether you go to someone because they haven't pitched in a while and then they get hurt, okay, you can't predict injuries. That means Bryce Harper is never allowed in a game where he gets drilled by the pitcher. He shouldn't be in the game against Blake Snell because he got hit in the face, because he got hit in the wrist. You can't have him in there. It's just part of it. You can't predict that stuff. There is no way in hell I am going to blast the manager. Unfortunately, there are so many individuals who hate him so much that he can never do anything correct. They despised Rob going to Luzardo a day ago in the 7th after he went 6 strong with an 80-something pitch count. You'd be the first jabroni to rip him apart if you yanked him and didn't give him the 7th. Now, the 7th, after a walk, is when Rob can't fall asleep. So he mismanaged once he got into the 7th. That's fair. Giving Luzardo the 7th was right. I call it right down the middle. Rob isn't perfect, but there are plenty of moves that he makes that is totally acceptable and totally fair and totally right. And truth be told, in this particular circumstance, I don't even think it's debatable. Sometimes you can see the other side. I don't even see the other side in this situation. I don't see the side of Rob's stupid. Why would you waste him in a spot that's not necessary? That's not what he's doing, though. Again, you'd be the first person to be so angry at Rob if you don't use him tomorrow and you don't use him Sunday and you don't use him in the first game against Seattle, and then the second game against Seattle, you need him, but he's not crisp and he doesn't look right. You'd say, oh, Rob, how dumb can you be? You got to make sure he doesn't go stale sitting on the bench. Trust me, I've seen it before. I know how it goes. I'm not new here. Rob, you did everything right. It's just unfortunately how it goes with competition. Sometimes players go down. The x-rays came back negative. We'll see what this means moving forward. I predict he will not be available for quite some time. Just because it's negative doesn't mean he will be back on the field quickly. And that is concerning. Someone's going to have to step up big time, the 40-year-old David Robertson and Orion Kerkering. But there's some huge innings and late situations that need to get dialed in, or someone needs to be dialed in to secure that job with Duran out. Because part of the reason why I felt so comfortable after the deadline, it sure as hell isn't Nick Castellanos. It sure as hell isn't Bryce. Unfortunately, it's not Trey Turner coming up clutch, because my man had 3 dinky singles yesterday, and his at-bat today, before Kyle Schwarber sent one to Mars, was disgraceful to the sport. We're going to get to your calls, 215-592-9494. Before we do, I want you to listen to Scott Fransky. Scott Fransky said this right after the game was over and explained perfectly why Rob Thomson was right to utilize Duran in this 4-run game tonight.
The ridiculous take that I know fans will have.
Hit me.
That Jhoan Duran should not have been in the game in a non-save situation.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. I'm telling you, somebody will
say that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Somebody will say
You're
that,
absolutely
and they
right.
need to be
chastised.
They need
Squelched.
to have their fandom or
And
whatever.
Scott,
revoked.
explain why that is such a ridiculous take.
It's a ridiculous take on many reasons.
Yes.
For many reasons.
Your
But
take
there's
is
a
one
hot
very
take.
obvious one.
He was going to pitch today regardless.
If they were up 8-1, down 8-1.
He had to pitch today.
Exactly, yeah.
There are certain guys, and Rob Thomson, it's his first question to every reliever that he ever acquires is, how many days can you go without pitching and still be good?
And the answer he got from Duran was
4
days.
4 days.
What was remember Hector's?
For
Hector's was like
instance-
3, right?
For instance, Mariano Rivera could go for 3 weeks and not pitch, and he was fine with it.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah,
He
that's
didn't
what-
care.
Yeah.
Yes.
If there wasn't a safe situation, he didn't need to be in there. But other guys need the work. Some work better multiple days in a row. Some work better with more work. Some work better with less work. But the Phillies had lost 3 games in a row, games they probably feel like they maybe shouldn't have lost or whatever, and they cannot, in any circumstance, not win this game. Duran has to be in this game. He's going to be in this game regardless. Win, lose, or draw.
So Rob's job is to put these players in the best position possible to succeed based off of how each of them like to be utilized. Now, it's not all about how they like to be utilized, because Nick would like to play every single day, and he's a stiff right now. So it's not as if what they say goes, but with pitchers, with closers, with bullpen guys, with veterans, you hear them out, you see their regimen, and then from there, you react accordingly. Rob Thomson sits down with Duran. He says 4 days is his comfort zone. So Rob Thomson looks at the current state and then applies logic to his information that he got from his new acquisition at the deadline. He did everything right. Sometimes life sucks. This is one of those circumstances where you just got hit below the belt and you didn't deserve it, but you got it. And that's the truth. It's that simple. Let's go to the phones. 215-592-9494. Let's go to Gary in Whitehall. What's up, Gary?
Yo, Brodes, how you be?
I'll be all right. How are you feeling after this one?
Well, let's see. I just finished my black rifle, double black coffee. Really, I got 7 hours to go for the rest of the night, so I'm going to need another one.
Okay.
But, I'd be all right, except for I'm going to be on the rooftop screaming my head off about Rob Thomson.
You did not like his decision tonight.
I did not like his decision tonight, having going outside right field playing again. And if I hear Scott Fransky say, whoa, he had 3 good swings tonight. Yeah, and that resulted in 0 for 4. Thank you very much.
I understand the frustration. Gary, here's my counter argument, and I don't even like my counter argument. I'm just playing devil's advocate with you. If we are at the point where we are begging the Phillies and Rob Thomson to take out Nick Castellanos to put in Max Kepler, who we've been screaming at the Phillies and Rob Thomson to DFA for the last 4 months, then isn't the truth just you suck in the outfield and there's no real fix? Isn't that the real honest assessment? If we're going to beg for Nick not to play, with the alternative being the guy that we wanted gone months ago in Max Kepler, isn't just the truth hitting us in the face that we suck in the outfield and there's nothing we can do about it?
Yeah, you're right, but I got you on that one. You thought I was going to bust on you about Rob Thomson having Duran in there.
I did think that, yes.
I'm totally with the move. You had to use him, no matter what. I mean, the guy's got to pitch. He's your closer. He's got to stay fresh. bullpen session just doesn't cut it for a reliever. He's got to be out there in the action, and that's what you got to do. But it's, you go from the pan to the fire with either Castellanos or Kepler, but Dombrowski dropped the ball where my suggestion before the trade deadline was go get yourself a first baseman and you put Price back out in the outfield, and that solves your outfield problem.
Huh. Well, I guess what ends up and Garrett, thank you for the call. I guess what happens at that point, it goes back to, and I don't want to rehash the deadline right now, but there were certain hypotheticals thrown out there where if you move Bryce and you go do this and you go do that, that you're moving 3 or 4 different parts. And if you're moving that much at the deadline because you're that desperate and there's that much newness to your team, is that hard of an ask to say, all right, put it together here now after 5 or 6 extreme moves? Normally what you do if you are a serious contender is you just add sweeteners, right? You plug in a piece here, you plug in a back into the bullpen piece there, and then you go to the playoffs and you have your squad. But if we were to do all that, and we're moving this guy, we're moving that guy, Bohm's going from third to first, someone's playing third, Bryce is going to the outfield, you still need center field. At that point, you're doing 5 extreme positional moves. And that doesn't scream championship to me if you have to do all that at once. But yes, full picture, full body of work. Dave Dombrowski screwed this up from day one. That is the truth. I don't know how much I could be mad at playing Nick because the alternative is a guy that we didn't want here forever, who has underperformed, which may be an understatement. Max Kepler underperforming might not even be doing it justice how bad he's been. So you just got to put your arms up and shrug. That's the only thing you can do. This is what we have. And I can't get mad at Topper. I just can't. I can't get mad at Topper for doing what he did with Duran tonight. To focus back in on that. I think he absolutely 1,000% made the right strategical move from a managerial view. Come into my office, Duran. Let's talk a bit. What do you like? How do you feel after a couple of days off? What do you want your schedule to look like? He's only one of the best closers in all of the sport. He's only a guy that can throw 103, 102, and his velocity is through the roof, and he knows when he can get to his peak. He knows what he needs to reach that intensity. He knows exactly what his body must go through on a day-to-day basis so he can perform at the highest clip possible. So when he spews that information back to you, you must consume it and then execute it. That's all Rob can do. What happens on the field through competition, injury, tweaking a muscle, something happening with his ankle, you name it, that's out of your control. All you can do is plug the pieces in to be successful every single day. This was a very normal spot for a closer to go into a game. It's very fundamental. This team lacks a lot of fundamentals. In this situation, they actually got it right from a fundamental standpoint. It's not very hard to understand that you can logically, prior to seeing a result, make a decision that totally makes sense. And then something unfortunate happens. That doesn't mean, with hindsight, Rob Thomson's an idiot. I don't work like that. My brain doesn't work like that. I think that's silly if your brain does. Let's go to Eli in South Carolina. What's happening, Eli?
Hey, listen, I'm on your side when it comes to the stuff with Topper. I'm thinking the people that are saying, oh, he shouldn't have brought in Duran. If he didn't bring in Duran, he's bringing in Romano or Joe, like Ross.
Yeah, maybe.
Four-run game, yeah.
Or any of these guys. I mean, it's not impossible for David Robertson, who I know ended up coming in and doing okay, but without the Duran thing, he could have came in and then it would have been maybe a one-run game, and then you start to get tight, and then you get nervous, and then these same people are screaming, why not use Duran and just get the win and wrap it up and move on to the next one? They'll just complain no matter what, and that's ridiculous to me.
And that's what I love about Topper. That's what we all love about Topper is he trusts his guys. That's what sets him apart from the other managers. He trusts his guys. And, you know, I agree with you, too, that there's something off about this team. I mean, they have every capability of being an 80, 90, even 100-win team. They're just not doing it, you know?
They're not consistent. They're not consistent. And some of the guys that we really need to step up, for example, Wheeler, and we all love Wheeler, but the truth is, Mackenzie Gore threw almost 40 pitches in the first inning, and he went 6 today, while Wheeler went 5 and had to throw 97 in those 5 innings of work against a trash Nationals team.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
I think something's going on with Wheeler. They really need to figure that out. I think the big problem is a lot of these guys, you know, the top 2/3 of the lineup, guys like Wheeler, guys like Nola even, every day when they show up to the ballpark, they're clocking in and going to work. They're not having fun out there. I think that's the problem. They need some dudes who are hungry. They need some dudes who, if they strike out, their family might not eat dinner. They need someone hungry.
Eli, thank you for the call. Now we're rooting for starvation. Well, not rooting for starvation. He wants them to succeed, but they want the mentality to be, if I don't succeed, I don't eat. So, but what if that, and I'm just having fun here and chewing on it a little bit, but if you want fun, I think the last thing you want is someone so tense that if they don't succeed in the sport of baseball where failure is normal, that's going to just make everybody nauseous and tight and uncomfortable. I want the exact opposite. I want them to play carefree baseball because carefree baseball should let you settle in to just your norm. I almost think the stress of living up to a certain standard is making them crack. Now, that's their fault. Because if you want to be a superstar team, a juggernaut team, you must handle pressure. That's the gig. If you want to be a team that is constantly there, let's look at the Astros for years. Now, granted, there was a scandal and this and that, but they were looked at as a team. In the ALCS, every year, write them in. You know how hard it is to be known as an ALCS team as your floor? And all they did was get there. Now, trust me, it wasn't a perfect story, but it's hard to do that as consistently as they did. But there's something about your DNA when you're expected to and you actually accomplish the goal. This team, when they're expected to do things, they were not expected to go to the World Series. That was the miracle ride. They were expected to beat the Diamondbacks. They stunk. They were expected to beat the Mets. They stunk. We'll see what happens here. But expectations break a lot of people. The Mets signed Juan Soto. They were supposed to build off the NLCS. Now look at them. Expectations can break you. And this team, the way they're built, they don't know how to handle this mess. They don't. What do you got for me, Luke?
This team's been tense all year. They've been uptight. They've been anxious almost all year. It started in the very beginning when they talked about, the daycare isn't doing the thing anymore. They're not doing the water after the game, dumping it on the player, just little cups and throwing the seeds in the gum. They're not doing that. They've been playing tense baseball all year. And it's shown. It looks like they're just nervous about everything. It looks like every single at-bat they feel like could be their last at-bat. And that's what this team's going to be. They're not going to change. They're not going to be, the chill ball club that's having fun and the unexpected story. That's the Brewers right now. Mm-hmm. If you want to look at a team that is laid back, having fun, winning games, and just kicking butt, that's the Milwaukee Brewers, who are never going to lose a game again. And I kind of wish they did, because I really just can't say Brewers. It all just kind of meshes into one little mush of a word. And here's the thing, you're not going to bring somebody up that's going to change the vibe of the team. Because you know who that would have been? It would have been Justin Crawford, and he would have been called up today. And guess what? He's not called up today. And here's the thing, he doesn't even really fit on the team. There's a lot of outfielders that are just kind of whatever right now. Harrison Bader is whatever. Brandon Marsh right now is probably the best outfielder we have. And 2 months ago, he was maybe the worst outfielder that we have. You can't bring up Crawford, another left-handed bat, a guy who doesn't really have any power. He's an okay defender. He's got crazy speed, don't get me wrong. But if you were going to bring up somebody to try to give a jolt to the team and maybe, light a fire under them or just make them play more relaxed, it feels like Justin Crawford would be that guy, and that's obviously not going to happen at this point.
Very disappointing. And the fact that Kyle can do what he did today and it not move me is problematic, because Schwarbombs are always electric, especially ones that fly 450 feet, and it didn't move me. That was the most, I'm not going to say disappointed, because that's not true, but I've never been so less moved by a Kyle Schwarber nuke with a Bryce Harper back-to-back sequence right after that. But it all started in that first inning. Didn't we all know when Gore was at 37 pitches and you only scored 2 runs, that this game was going to piss you off? That this game was going to suck? 2-0? You're telling me it's not 5-0? You're telling me it's not 4-0? It's not 6-0? The Nationals suck. And the fact that they're bringing out guys out of their pen that have a 10 ERA and a 6 ERA, a 5 ERA, one after another after another. If Schwarber or Bryce didn't do that, then we'd have even more issues. That's how I felt. It was less woohoo, that was electric, and more thank God. Because if you can't smack one off a guy with a 10+, then what are we doing here? That's how bad that bullpen is. And the fact that you let Gore go through 6 with a 40-pitch first inning is an absolute disgrace to the sport. It really is. Listen to this home run by Schwarber. Instead of me feeling happy, instead of me feeling great, I had nothing. But this is so awesome. It should move me, and it didn't.
And a swing and a high fly ball deep right field. Forget about it. Kyle Schwarber into the second deck. Long gone in right. It's a 3-run home run. And the Phillies have a 5-2 lead, and Schwarber crosses the 100 RBI mark again. It's his 43rd home run. He's got 101 driven in. 5-2 Phillies in the 7th, and it's his 11th home run off a left-handed reliever.
Absurd. A great call by Fransky, by the way. He gave me what he got. I felt the juice from Fransky. The problem is I don't feel the juice from this team. No matter what the standings say, no matter what the graphic says, we've all been around sports long enough. We know the feeling now, thankfully, what winning feels like. Whether it's the Eagles, whether it's this group back in the Houston Astros World Series run, we know the feeling. We couldn't be farther away from a serious baseball team. Okay, there's the White Sox of the world, but I'm saying from a team with this type of record, I've never seen such a stronger disconnect from record and reality in my life. I've just never seen it. Let's go to Scott in Westchester. What's up, Scott?
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Very, very good. Yeah, that game was doomed from as soon as Castellanos came up in the first. And Ruben already called it. And as soon as he's like, well, he likes to swing at the first pitch as much as I don't agree. And sure enough, he did. Yeah, that game was doomed. The fact they stole 2 runs in that was a miracle. But yeah, you can't sit the guy and not pitch him. There's no reason not to pitch him. And it's 6-2. So who are you going to pitch? Because somebody else is going to come in and screw it up, right?
Probably. My guess would be David Robertson would have got it if Duran wasn't available today because you had to use him in previous outings or whatever. And who knows?
Yeah, you got to use Duran.
You have
There's
to.
only about 5 guys on that team who have street cred that they can say what they want, and it's Wheeler, Duran, Schwarber, Harper, and Real Muto. So Castellanos, they screwed up not getting rid of him in the offseason and getting rid of that contract and getting Tucker, Bregman, or anything for him, a box of signed balls, something.
Yeah, I'm actually starting to get worried, Scott, that this is rubbing off in the clubhouse, and they can pretend it's not all they want, but when him and Topper get into it, and it's over a defensive replacement, and now in Texas, Topper brings up publicly it's about the field, and it's a hard field, so they have to rotate guys, which is complete BS. I think Nick is very angry, very pissed off, and he doesn't seem to be someone who is willing to put the team first over his personal goals. And I got to imagine that part of the reason why this team doesn't feel like a winner is because there's probably some upset personalities in that clubhouse right now.
It could be a lost clubhouse, and I think Topper's doing the best he can with it. Castellanos isn't a bad outfielder for what he's done. You can't really get too mad about like what he just can't hit, and so he's kind of useless being in the lineup. I don't, and if you could let me know what you think. I don't understand the platooning that they do with so many people, and Max Kepler shouldn't be on this team because that guy's gotten every chance in the world.
Yeah, I agree with you. So I was listening a little bit to the afternoon show today, Scott, and Spike was bringing up that this is what you are. You are this. Nick Castellanos in right field. He's a streaky hitter. He goes through the high highs. He goes through the low lows. But if we're really going to look at ourselves as a contender and think, well, we platoon Bader with Marsh and this and that, and we got so many different guys and Kepler and now you can't platoon 3 outfield spots and think you're winning a championship. And all we've done is yell that Kepler stinks for months and months and months, yet now we're begging him to be in the lineup over Nick. It's not a real option.
Yeah.
So your best
I
option
agree.
might be you just keep running Nick out there and pray that he can go on a weak run where he hits the baseball, because inevitably that's going to happen at some point. You just got to pray it happens in October.
I hope so, after Labor Day. Yeah.
And it's not where you want to be, Scott. Thank you for the call. It's just you're so desperate, you have to go this route. I don't want to do this. I think it sucks that I have to trot him out there every day. But I actually agree with Spike. You have to trot him out there every day and just hope, because Kepler doesn't work.
Real quick, though, on Castellanos, he needs to be moved down in the lineup.
That's fair.
I can't have him 5th, 6th. I need him at the highest he needs to be in the lineup is 7th. Here is the sequence in the first inning when they had Gore on the ropes. All right, so Trey Turner singles, right? He ends up scoring, and Schwarber walked right after Trey. Harper brings him in 2-0. Harper's at second. JT walks. Runners first and second. 0 outs. Just had a walk. The second walk of the inning. Castellanos gets up there. First pitch swinging, pops out to center field. You can't have that.
Let me ask you this. Because I had this argument with myself every day about Nick. If you look at the numbers, first pitch, he's hitting .440 this year. Everything else is kind of ugly.
I get that.
But it's probably just because he always swings at the first pitch.
He always swings at the first pitch.
Yeah.
And I get it. You can swing at the first pitch after, someone ahead of you grounds out or gets a hit. You try to keep it rolling. There's 2 walks in the inning, and the guy ahead of you just drew a walk.
Yeah.
At this point, what was Gore at this point? 25, at least 20 pitches at this point? And
Yeah.
you're swinging the very first pitch with no outs in the inning? Dude, you got to keep the line moving.
Yeah.
Take one.
No, I agree with you. I'm just playing devil's advocate. Now, I've done that twice. Played devil's advocate, and I don't even believe the side I bring up. I just like to kind of hear ourselves talk about it. But you're right. In that situation, maybe Gore, instead of 37 pitches, he ends the inning at 48 pitches, and he's not in the 6th. And instead, you're at the Nationals bullpen in the 4th. Which, instead of sweating it out in a 2-2 game until late with Kyle Schwarber, maybe you just take control in the 4th inning, and then you don't have to, well, they might go to Duran anyway because they wanted to get the usage out there. But who knows? It's a mess. It's a mess. Let's go to George in Drexel Hill. What's up, George?
Hello.
Hello, George.
Let me tell you something.
Tell
I'm
me.
one of the guys that don't call about the Phillies because they're like the Flintstone family, and Topper is Barney Rubble of this damn Flintstone family out there on that's playing baseball. Are you kidding me? That guy, you got that guy, Duran. coming out there with a 4-1 lead?
Yes.
No way.
He hasn't pitched since Sunday.
And I don't care.
Well, no. That's how baseball works, George.
You don't tell me how baseball works.
I'm telling you right now, George. That's how it works.
You think Topper? Well, by the way, his name is Topper.
His name's Rob Thomson.
Not because he was on top of things from Joe Torre with the Yankees.
It's because his last name's Thompson.
He was called Topper because he was bringing coffee on time to Joe and the boys. Get out of here.
I don't even know what you're talking about, George. I think that joke sucked.
I'm talking about Joe Torre. No, I know it doesn't suck.
Yeah, that joke was terrible.
I don't think it's
the truth. It's the truth.
No, I think he did the right thing, George.
Let me tell you something right now.
Go ahead.
They're nervous. They're a nervous team. They're a nervous team. He had no business doing what he did tonight.
But what did he do that was wrong?
Brought him in with a 4-1 lead. I would have brought in Robinson or somebody else.
Yeah, but he hasn't pitched since Sunday, George.
Don't care.
But that's how baseball works. When your reliever doesn't pitch for a long time, then you get him out there so he can then pitch. That's how baseball works.
Don't tell me how baseball
I'm telling you how baseball works, George.
Baseball works the way you want it to work.
No. This is a very fundamental move made by the manager that managers make all the time.
You're just backing this crud ball up. That's all you're doing.
I don't even know what that means. What are you saying?
Mr. Platoon Man. He's a platoon man.
Yeah, but that's a Dave Dombrowski problem, George. You don't like Dave Dombrowski.
No, it's
No, Dave Dombrowski told him, this is your roster, and then he has to manage the slop that Dave Dombrowski gave him.
You know what? Keep backing them up. You're going to see what happens.
I don't like them. I don't like them, George. I've been ripping them for the last 30 minutes, George.
I'm going to rip. I haven't called because I don't even want to follow them this year because of the way they're playing ball. You think they're a great team?
No,
they're not.
George, there's never been one time that I've stated that they are a good baseball team.
They had a chance with this Duran guy to stay healthy and take him a little further. Not what he did. He should have let him.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that baseball happened and he got hit in the foot. It's not anybody's fault. It's just how sports works.
Well, guess what? I would have never brought him in. I'm the manager of the team.
Yeah, I never want you to manage my baseball team. I never want you to manage my team.
Well, who are you? You're nobody to
me. I'd rip you every day, George. 215-592-9494. Manager George. What are you going to do? 215-592-9494. We're going to break. We all need to relax after George. Manager George. You know why his name's Topper? Yeah, his last name's Thompson, George. We'll continue. 215-592-9494. That's the fourth time I think I gave the number in 7 seconds. My brain's not working because of George. It's Brodes. It's WIP.